Hello everyone, hello. Might have had a slight mishap just a minute ago. We clicked on the wrong panel or whatever you'd say. But yes, hello, hope you're doing okay. Yeah, good to see you all, good to see you all. Yeah, so what have we got today? Well, I've just got a few windows open, so I might be sort of manoeuvring about a bit, but hopefully everything will be all right. So yes, hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully everything's working fine. Yeah, just have to. I think I've checked everything, so it should be all right. Fingers crossed, it's okay. I'm just going to perhaps have just a quick check that the audio is fine. Let me just see. Yes, it's fine. Okay, good. Yeah, so hello, welcome to well, basically a tier maker edition of Chocolo Roberto. Normally, as you probably know, I do premieres every couple of weeks. A tier maker video, essentially where I'm sort of ranking or tiering certain things. It could be ice cream, it could be biscuits, it could be all sorts really. And today it's discontinued chocolates. Yeah, so so basically it's but instead of doing it as a premiere where it's not live or pre-recorded it, I thought why not just do it live. It's actually a lot easier for me to do. So I don't know why I've not done it before, honestly. Hi Scotty, glad you can make it back. You've been to Marks and Spencer's, you say? Did you buy anything nice from them? Hopefully you got something nice. I think it's all the giant buttons, the orange buttons you bought, which happens to be very giant. But yes, hopefully you got something nice. Yeah, this is live. Yeah, this one's actually live. Yes, I thought, because basically normally I have to edit the video and all sorts, and I thought why do that? Why not just do it live? Because it takes about 5 hours basically to do normally. So I thought, why not just do it live? And it takes me half the time, and it's actually live then. So why not? Yes, this one's actually live. Yes, this one's actually live. So I've got a few things going on. It's a bit more busy than normal because I've got basically got multiple windows open of all sorts going on at the moment. Yeah, so hopefully you can see me all right. Hopefully everything's fine. Because basically I've got my browser open, which is the screen you can see. Then I've got the streaming software, which kind of encapsulates has all the windows on and all these special things and stuff like that going on. And I've got the performance of the channel and stuff like that. And then the chat window where you are as well. So I've got got loads of stuff going on really. Yeah, I know Aldi, you said, sorry, yes, you did mention Aldi, yes. Yeah, all right, I'm going to have a look tomorrow. I was going to go today, but I thought I'd go tomorrow instead. So I might try that out tomorrow morning, see if I can find them. But I've not been able to find a few things. I've not been able to find the orange toffee crisps. I think not seen them yet. So I don't know. Yeah. So and something else I was looking for as well. But yeah. So assuming they exist as well. By the way, I don't know if you've mentioned them before. So I might have just. I don't know. But yeah. So if you do all right, let me do a quick poll. Should we do? Yeah. What do we think? Maybe. Let's see. What could we do the poll on? I guess. Yeah, could do it. Let's have a look. Is there any? Trying to think of any. Well, maybe I do. Well, it's discontinued. So let's do discontinued bar. So we say, let's have a look. So might. Let's have a see. So yes. So you can hear me typing now. So I'm just basically doing a bit of a poll. Hopefully I've spelled things right. Oh, I forgot. You know what? I forgot Time Out Chunky for this list, haven't I? I might have to add that in a second. So yeah, because that's one I need to add. I need to add that one. What else can we have? Let's have a look at this. Yeah. There you go. Just for Andrew, we've done one there as well if he turns up. There we are. So yes. I can only do 4 things in these polls. That's the thing. So basically, yeah, that's, I can't do any more than that. I'd like to do more than that. So what I'm going to do is I've just moved the browser away for a minute while I just update it. Let's have a look. What was it? Has to be here, you see, because it was such a fantastic bar that I've got to put this one in. But it's very hard to find it, actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's not really. I don't know if I can even find a picture of it. Time Out Chunky Base is what I'm looking for. I'm going to add it to the options, but it doesn't really. It's very hard to find. It doesn't. There's no real evidence of it on the internet. Basically, very much. It's quite difficult to find out. See if I can just find a picture of it. If I can't, then we'll just have to go with it. Because it's quite important on that one because it's really, really, really nice. So I can't do this without having that on. But I can't see a picture of it, unfortunately. I think there was one somewhere. I'd need to find it, but I can't find it. Yeah, it is a shame. It's a shame that because it is a major bar. I don't know if you remember the Time Out Chunky, Scotty, by any chance. I don't know if it was one that wasn't out for very long. Okay, we'll have to do the Coronation Street logo of it, I think. Hang on, what's this? Oh, there we go. There we go. That'll do. Yeah. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just saving this time out chunky picture, and I'm going to quickly make the image for it here. So it won't be a second. I won't spend too long on it because it's quite. There we go. Right. Okay. Yeah. So that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, there we go. Last minute things here. There we go. Last minute things. Yeah, so what I've got to do now is just got to go into Tier Maker and just edit it and add that image in now. So it'll take a second. See things are live. I can see it's definitely live. So look. Okay. And I'll add another file in. Where's it gone? There it is. Place there. Crunching as well. Just checking it's got all the images in as well. I don't know if it has got the white chocolate crunching as well. Might be missing a couple of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Yeah, okay, yeah. Lucky I checked actually because there's 2 aren't there. See, can't select them both, it seems. For some reason. Why can't I do that? Yeah, white chocolate. Well, they should be there. The white chocolate Maltese is there. Yeah, they are good. Yes, for you. What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to select 2 chocolate bars. Okay, there we go. Right, I see what's going on now. 12, 16, 20, 12, 20. Okay, I think I pressed the wrong button. Basically, is the gist of it. Okay, right. Let's have a look. Maybe we're back in action. We might be back in action. Let's check. There we go. Yes. There we are. Sorry about that. 16, 24. Yeah, 28. There we go. I think we've got them all there now. I think there's 28 things in total. There. So I've just added the timeout chunky and the white chocolate crunch as well. So let me just check I've got them all. 5, 10, 12, 24, 27, 28. I think I've got them all there. Yeah, I've got them all. Yeah. Good. Right, I think we're ready. Okay. Hi, Alan. Good to see you again. It's been a while. Yeah, good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. I'm live today, by the way. You might have not been expecting that, but I am. I might be looking off to all sides because basically there's a lot going on while I just get it organised, but I think I'm kind of there now. I think. We'll see. Yeah, hope you're doing all right, Alan. How's things with the pub, by the way? Is it coming along all right now? Has the business picked up and stuff now that... There we go. Let me just check. Yeah. Okay. Right. There we go. Okay, good. Right. Yeah, hope things are going okay for you, Alan. Yeah, good to see you, by the way. Great, good time in this one. I think it'll be quite a good one to do, this one as well. It's yeah, essentially discontinued chocolate. I don't think I've mentioned it before, but yes, yeah, nice. I thought, well, basically, I was just saying to Scotty a minute ago, like, you know, it takes me about 5 hours to basically prepare this video, and I thought I can do it in about 2 if I just do it live, you know. So why not just do that? And you've got the benefit of it actually being live as well, which is a bit more enjoyable. So yeah, so basically I've got all the graphics on as well. I've got the, if you ever send a super chat or become a member during the live, you get a nice graphic as well, all going well, which we had a couple of on the Stash Watch during the week. So if you're ever going to do anything, feel free to do it now. Hopefully it'll work. Yes, hopefully it'll work. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so I'm just sort of, as I say, prepping things. So I've got a few windows open. That's why I keep looking around. So just do apologise. But Fuse, yes. So you're a big... Yeah, I thought you might have mentioned that, actually. I do remember you were... It's been a bit of a... Yeah, well, there's 3 votes and it's equal. No one's going for the timeout, though, which is... see. Honestly. There's a few... I can only fit 4 in that poll. That's the reason there's only 4 there. But yeah, basically what we're doing, you probably gathered it already. Basically, we're tiering or ranking discontinued chocolates from the UK. Generally, this is really, so it's UK bars. So we're going to rank them from S being the top. S is it's basically sort of Japanese high school grading. It's the gist of it. S is the highest mark. It's filtered down into computer games, which is why it's here. It's just a standard on Tier Maker. And what I'll be doing is I'll be dragging something across like there to put it onto the relevant one. Now you might see some extra graphics appear after a while, as in some things that are part of the website. It's just the way it sort of shifts around as things move from the top to bottom. Normally I edit them out when I edit them. This is what takes a long time. For instance, there's a load of cogs on each side of this. You'll see that you can't see the mouse here. You see it goes off. It's because I've got a black blocker blocking this bit out, so the mouse is being blocked off. There's little tricks like that I do, but unfortunately it's dynamic, this screen, so there'll be things that move up in a bit, so you'll see like some other options that normally I filter out. But yeah, hope everything's going alright, and fingers crossed the screen's going okay. I've just seen that it seems to be whirring away a bit, so hopefully it's alright. Maybe that's a one-off. Fingers crossed it's a one-off. My internet was looking perfect before, so I thought I won't touch it, but but it's one of those where you do worry that maybe it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, but then it might break in 5 minutes. Okay, right, so yes, let's go. So we need a benchmark, basically. I think, there's a few things here, is the gist of it. Some of them are basically from the 80s, so some people might not remember those. Some of them more recent. There's one very recent one, actually, that's in the past few years that was just basically diabolical, really. And but we need a benchmark, I think. And I think the benchmark should probably be the tasters, I reckon, because I think... Should they be the tasters? I mean, I don't know if the benchmark should be. It's a difficult one, this one, actually. A bit of a difficult one. Some of these, I must say, I don't remember too... There's a couple of them that I don't really remember massively well, because I just had them when I was so young. I might have had them only once or twice, but they're there because of my memories and things like that as well. So I thought, why not have them? But yeah, I think we definitely need some kind of benchmark. I'm just going to mix them up slightly. Yeah, let's see. What can we have as a benchmark? I think possibly... It's a difficult one, this, It's a difficult one to know what's actually... Because basically, if I put one in the middle, they've all got to go around it, really, is the gist of it. So it's a bit of a hard one to pick, that. I reckon, though, probably... Yeah, probably. I was going to say the tasters, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think I might go for... Got to get started, haven't we? So let's just pick one, really. But I reckon... Oh, I don't know what to pick. I'm stuck now. It's got to be like a reasonably average one, I think. I reckon possibly... yeah. Really difficult. They're all so varied and different. It's quite a difficult one to pick, this. I reckon it's really hard to pick a benchmark. Really hard to pick a benchmark. I reckon we might pick the tasters as a benchmark, and we're going to, rather than put them in B, I'm going to put them in C as the benchmark. I think that's a good starting point. So basically, because tasters are really nice, what they were is basically spheres of dairy milk chocolate. So they were solid dairy milk chocolate. Really interesting. And basically, they were very nice, just but they had that sort of coating on, so they didn't melt in your hands, basically. So you could mess about with them, you could swirl them around like this and stuff like that, juggle with them, anything. So they had that kind of going for them, so they wouldn't melt, essentially. And they were quite nice. Because of that, they had a sort of very distinct taste to them, I think you'd say. They wouldn't just, I don't know, some people don't like that. I think Scotty might mention he didn't like that. But I did quite like that consistency it gave them. I did quite like it, but at the end of the day, they are really just chunks of dairy milk, so that's why I've given them a C. They're probably, it's not to say they're a 2 out of 5 or whatever, low down. It just means that, it's just a benchmark for placing them in relation to everything else, really. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, hi Andrew, good to see you. Yeah, hope you're doing all right. Yes. Yeah, I know it's imported. Yeah, this is it. I still included it, even I did review the imported one, but I still included it because it's not officially available here. Because there's a few like that, really, and they're not necessarily the same. The marble, for instance, even the cabbage dream, and stuff like that. They're not the same bar technically, although I think the crunch probably is. But even so, it is one that I do miss quite a bit, really. Yeah. So there we are, you see. Yes, there we go. Yeah, did you ever actually have fries 5 centres, Andrew? That was one thing I needed to ask you. I don't know if you've actually... There's a few interesting ones here. So yeah, so okay, now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This was one from when I was very young, and it was kind of quite a famous advert. It was a breakfast bar essentially, or one of those you'd put in a lunchbox, really. And it had like 5 different ingredients in it, but it wasn't quite as exciting as it sounded. It was like chocolate, Rice Krispie pieces, caramel, wafer, and something else maybe, which I can't quite think what it was now. But it was quite a nice bar, and it looked quite nice. It had quite an interesting, I'd say, theme tune. It was quite a good sort of bar, really. But I'd say it was so long ago since I had it. We're talking, well, a long time. A long time. It was in the 80s, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It used to have, I think it was a game show called 3, 2, 1. It had a character called Dusty Bin in it. It was like some kind of puppet or something. I don't know what it was. There used to be lots of game shows on Saturday nights rather than X Factor and stuff like this. And he used to do a thing where he'd flip his hands, and I think he eventually did 2-for-1 pizza adverts as well, if any of you remember that. I forgot what his name is, the guy now. And he did, rather than do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like he did this weird quick thing with his fingers, he did 2-for-1 as well. But then he did the adverts for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the gist of it, so yeah. Hi Joe, how you doing? Yeah, great to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. I know you've been busy recently, so good to see you again. Yes. Yeah. Basically, Joe, this is a discontinued UK chocolate, is the gist of it. But yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. I hope you're doing all right as well, Joe. Yes. Yeah, Foxy's Echo, thought you might mention that as well. Yeah. Yeah, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was an interesting one, this one. I don't think it was a typical sort of breakfast bar shenanigans, but it had lots of textures and tastes. I quite enjoyed it, really. I think I'm possibly going to say a B for this one. I think I did quite like it a lot. It was a nice one. Yeah, your Cadbury timeouts. Yeah, I think it's not getting any love in the poll, but I think it's because it was one of those where on paper it doesn't look that great, but it was definitely very, very nice. Yeah, very nice. Now this one's a Cabana bar. Now this one I don't think I remember the theme tune on the advert though very much, to the point where I actually remembered the theme tune all my life but didn't know what it was for. Which is very bizarre, really bizarre. You know what I mean? It's and then someone pointed it out in the comments. I think it was Steve Jones. I think it was. I've not seen him in the comments for a while, but he mentioned it, and I looked up the advert, and it was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, very interesting. So basically, what it was a bit like the what's it called? Was it Juicy Ripe? Whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. Something Ripe. It was the Australian sort of coconut bar. It was a bit like that basically, but it had caramel in as well. So it had caramel, coconut, and raspberry pieces. I think it was. I think definitely up a lot of people's streets. But unfortunately, I don't know if I ever really had it, or if I did, I was very young when I did. Very young. So yeah. Very young, so I'm not too sure. I can't rate it too high, as I say. No, I definitely wouldn't have been a fan of coconut, but I think if I had it now, I would have been quite a big fan of it, to be honest with you. Yeah, Timeout was a travesty, wasn't it, Andrew? It was a travesty, really. I can't believe they did that. It was that wafer version is just terrible. I mean, I don't know, But yeah, I didn't think you'd ever would have had. I never had it, to be honest with you, Andrew. I've never had it, but I think we can both say that it would be very nice, especially having the Cadbury snack from Australia as well. Yeah, I think it would be a very nice one. Yes. Yeah, glad you do well, Joe. Good to see you again, as I say. Yes, yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. It's a lot of nostalgia, basically, looking back in the old days. There's probably a lot more than this as well I could have had. I have to draw the line somewhere. Yeah, but there's about 28 here, so it's probably a good amount. But yeah, this Cabana bar, I never really had it. I reckon I could appreciate it, but I think this one probably would be higher, really. Imagine it's caramel, coconut, and what's its my face? Raspberry pieces as well. A bit like cherry ripe, that was it, but obviously with raspberries. So I think it would be nice. But I'm going to say C for me, because I think it's probably one of those where at the time I don't think I would have loved it being coconut and things like this. Yeah, I don't know what they did actually, Alan. You're right. I mean, it seems really weird, doesn't it? I think they've just basically took out the chocolate. Really, it had like a nice sort of flake style, sort of twirl style chocolate in it, and I think that's what they've took out. So it's just wafer, really. Might have like a chocolate cream layer, a bit like a sort of, I don't know, sort of like a Kit Kat, but it's doing Kit Kat a disservice to say that, really. Yeah. So a bit, but they just, I don't know what they've done. It's a travesty, that, to be honest with you, travesty. It really was a travesty, that. It used to be, it's like Fuse as well. It was a big bar back in the day. I was reading on Wikipedia when I was doing one of these lists, or something similar to this a while back, where they spent loads of money on an advertising campaign for Fuse back in the 2000s. And what happened to it? How did they just, killed it, didn't they, really? So, but yeah, interesting one. Lots of tales about Brazilian topics, so many good stuff. I I see. Do you have lots of things you missed, do you, Joe? Why has that happened then, Joe? Specifically, as I say, it sounds like there's been quite. I mean, there's been quite a few things here actually. It's probably quite I guess, but it is a shame, isn't it, when you miss these things? Yeah, cherry ripe. That's the one, Andrew. Yes, cherry ripe. Yes. Yeah, so it's a bit similar to that Cabana bar, but it was a classic one for a lot of people in the 80s. This was basically, one a lot of people miss, basically. It was quite a famous bar back at the time. I mean, there was another one, I forgot what it's called now. Aztec, I think, keeps being mentioned, but I don't know anything about that one. I know it's people like it and things, but I left that one out because I literally know nothing about it, other than what I could read online. So vice versa now, this one, I really like these ones, actually. This was a Nestle, they re-released, I don't know if they really brought them back or whether it kind of faded away, then they brought them back. It's the gist of it, and it's a bit like basically a bit like minstrels, but the white shell had a milk chocolate on the inside, and the milk chocolate shell, or the dark shell, had white chocolate on the inside, and it was Nestle white chocolate in this, so they were really nice. Actually, the white chocolate centre ones weren't as good as the white chocolate ones, because Nestle white chocolate's really nice. So these are really nice, and you would have loved these, Andrew. Yeah, they're very. I don't know if you remember them, but you probably might remember them actually. They did bring them back a few years back, about 5-6 years ago maybe. Yes. Production became too expensive, Joe. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because when you think about it, I guess you're growing cocoa on your doorstep pretty much. So it's a bit of it's typical, isn't it? But it's probably half of it's exported, so that's probably why it's expensive. Because a lot of other countries pay a lot of money for it, so it puts the price up locally. So it's a bit unfortunate that, really. Yeah. As I say, you'd think it, wouldn't you? You'd think it would be, nothing very cheap. Yeah. Milk and dark, but yeah, I saw that, Andrew, actually. Yeah, I saw that. It was amazing, that milk and dark version. You'd think they wouldn't do that. These days, he would never do that, cost them too much money. But yeah, I did see that one doing this. I had the two pictures, actually, but I just put the one on. Now, I haven't put the Drifter on here as well, by the way, everyone. Don't know, Drifter's not... Is Drifter officially been discontinued? I don't know. I think it has, hasn't it? But I've left the Drifter off anyway, is the gist of it. Might be one maybe I should put on, but I have a feeling there might be a lot I remember to put on, so maybe it's just keep going with it now, and maybe we'll do a Drifter at the end as an honourable mention or something like that. But yeah, meat and chicken as well. Yeah, typical, isn't it? Yeah, it's typical, isn't it? It's just the way it is, isn't it? Yeah, as you say, when you got all other countries paying a lot of money. Yeah. Well, vice versa is really nice. Really like these ones, actually. I thought these were lovely. I really like, but as I said, the only problem was with them was half of it was regular milk chocolate, which wasn't as good as the white chocolate. So you might have seen the save download thing. See, that's appearing in save download. I had to edit that out all the other times. Yeah, so it's just basically because it's on the website, you can save or download the, I guess the tier list or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, so basically, I think this one's an A for me. I really enjoyed these ones. It probably would be higher, as I say, but it was just the fact that the milk chocolate one wasn't as good. But if you imagine minstrels, but with a white chocolate one on the inside with the same shell as minstrel, or the opposite, vice versa, basically. Yeah, really good, those ones. They did appear a few years back. They came back. I think I remember Scotty pointing them out, actually. I think Scotty did. So maybe it was when I had the channel, or maybe it's, I don't know. I seem to remember chatting on the channel about it anyway, But yeah, unfortunately, they disappeared again. Really nice. Really shame that they've disappeared, actually. Yeah. Real shame. So, Price 5 cents, we're speaking about that. So I think Andrew said this would be in his S tier. I think, well, we've had the Cadbury snack from Australia. Is almost the same. I did have the picture of what Fry's 5 cents was, actually. I think it was very... let's have a look, see what it actually is. I did remember, but I can't remember now. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a few things. I think it's raspberry, lime, vanilla, coffee, orange. Yes. So there might have been another one at other times, but that's what I remember. I'm sure Andrew will tell us if there's other ones. But yeah, very nice sounding, this one. Obviously, Fry's nowadays just famous for their creams. Turkish delight, really. And they've released a few different cream versions, which is why Andrew's often saying, bring back Fry's 5 cents, because it looks like they should be able to do it. And to be honest with you, they probably could have done it. It's been a shame that they didn't. So it's basically like a 5-segment bar with each segment having a different flavour filling. Really original, well, say original idea, I'm not sure if but really interesting idea. And I guess, say original, well, it probably was original actually, wasn't it, at the time? Obviously now it's been done before, is what I was getting at. But yeah, an interesting one. Yeah. Interesting one, fries 5 cents. I definitely think I can only assume it's cost that keeps it away. That's all I can assume, or the fact that they're worried that it might be too divisive because some people might not like some of the layers. Yeah, I thought you'd like them. Yes, yeah, I thought you'd like them, Andrew. Milky ones were good. Yes, yeah, that's it. That's it. Exactly. Yes, that's it. Milky Bar moments. Yes, yeah, I do vaguely remember them actually. They're another one that's not on the list, but I do remember them. Yeah, yeah, I think that was really good. That was obviously best of both worlds, then I guess. Ironically, you don't have the milk chocolate side, but you know the gimmick is quite good in vice versa. But yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, I think for fries 5 cents. Now it's a really high one for this, but I never actually had it. And I think Andrew's saying he never had it either. I mean, I think really in theory it's probably an S one because the concept's so good, but I don't think I can myself put it in an S. I'm sorry, Andrew, but just because I've not actually had it, anticipation I do really want it back. I really do, but I think it'd be unfair for me to put it in S. I know obviously that's subjective, so it's no problem if you would put it in S. But I think for me, because I never actually had it, I think it would be unfair for me to do it. But obviously, you know, it's one of those because I've been like that with the Cabana and the five, you know, and things like this as well. The 5 one, I can't. It's been a long time since I had it, but it does sound really nice. I mean, raspberry lime vanilla coffee as well. It had coffee scent. I mean, that's almost unheard of these days, isn't it? You know. So I mean, really nice. I very tempted to put it in the S1, and to be honest with you, I feel like it would have been, but I'm just going to be consistent and harsh on myself maybe, and I think I'm just going to put it in the A tier. But I can definitely, I've no qualms with anyone saying they'd put it in the S tier. It's just because I never actually had it. But I can strongly say that I really would like it back because it does sound really nice. I had the Cadbury's snack from Australia. It was really good, really nice concept, really enjoyable bar as well. Just something different, so different, stood out so well. But a lot of Australian bars do actually, as it happens. But yeah, really nice. Really do want this one back, and I'm with Andrew really here. They should have brought it back. They've had so many different flavours that they've done. Some of them limited edition, but they've had at least 4 flavours, and then on top of it, and then you know maybe just a plain flavour they've had or whatever. And they've not had exactly the same ones. They've not done a lime or a coffee or anything like this, but they've had enough to make 5 flavours, so they could have done it. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Andrew. I think I've seen other combos as well. Yeah. Fondant pigs, you say? Yeah, I don't know if did I have those. I might have had them. They sound familiar, but I'm not sure. I could be mistaking them for M&S, Percy pigs, whatever they're called. Yeah, blackcurrants. Yeah, blackcurrant was good. I'm not surprised he took the coffee one out. I can imagine that perhaps would be a bit extreme, but I would have liked that one to stay in. Yeah. Yeah, I really would hope. I do hope they bring that back. And unfortunately, Andrew, I think I've said to you this in Discord. Really, I am a bit worried by the fact that they haven't done it when they've had the perfect opportunity now. But having said all that, we have had all the problems in the past year or two. Maybe that stopped it. You know, maybe. Yeah, maybe. You can but hope. Well, fingers crossed. Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that one for sure. Now, snowflake or flakes, like flake snow. I mean, I think I looked online for the picture, and there was one called snowflake. So I don't know why, but I remember it as flake snow, and I always thought it was very strange that they didn't call it snowflake. So I do wonder whether, you know, whether there was some kind of problem and then they got round it to something and changed it. I'm not sure. Hi, Lula, how you doing? Yes, good to see you. Glad you're doing okay. Yeah, I hope you're doing all right. Oh, you're very up very late most of the time. I see you commenting about 12 o'clock at night. It's usually when I'm active, actually, so it's not too bad. Yeah, so flake, those you don't know. But basically, it's a very flaky chocolate bar, which stands to reason, I guess. Gist of it is you need a plate with it generally, unless you're outside. And it's just very sort of crumbly. I don't know if it's dairy milk chocolate, but it's a very nice chocolate. You usually see a stick of it in an ice cream. That's a commonplace. It's not the proper flake, so it usually tastes a bit of a cheaper flake, really. But either way, not made by Cadbury. But basically, flake dipped is essentially one of those, but covered in milk chocolate all around it, enrobed, I think you'd probably say. Or basically, if you imagine a twirl, it's pretty much like that. But this one had white chocolate in the middle. I wonder if the snowflake was just fully white chocolate. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah. So it's almost like a Cadbury Dream on the inside. Very, very nice sort of theming. This one, snowflake, of course. Lovely, really. Yeah, Flake Snow it's called. Yeah, Flake Snow Lula. Yeah, you're up always late, yes. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. One of those, I'm a nighttime person as well. Foxy's Echo is one of the best. Peppermint one too. Yes. Aero Biscuits, yeah. So yeah, vaguely remember those. Don't know if I had them. Vaguely remember them, Andrew. Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, there's a few other flake. There was just flake dipped as well, which was basically a flake, but just enrobed again, a bit like just a giant twirl, I think. So I think there's a slight difference, but they're more or less the same, to be honest with you. You know, I think flake is a bit flakier, but the concept's generally the same. Yeah, really nice this one. I say white chocolate. I feel like it was one of those where I think for me it sort of looked better than it was, if you know what I mean. I don't know why. I just sort of I didn't mind it though really. I don't know. It's one of those. It didn't stand out as being my favourite ever bar. I don't remember, but I did love that. I do love the consistency. I love the novelty of it. I love how it's called. You know, well, I preferred. I would have liked it if it was called Snowflake. As I said, they did do one called Snowflake at some point, or at least there's a wrapper for it online. I don't know whether that's an Australian version or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, really nice, really interesting and unique. But as I say, I think it wasn't my favourite ever. But flake is always a lovely chocolate. I think it's possibly an A, maybe a B. Yeah, it's going to be difficult this one because there's probably going to be a lot of A's and B's and stuff like that. I think it's probably an A, you know, just because it's the flake is just a lovely chocolate bar. It's really nice, really interesting. I do love it a lot. Yeah, there's been a lot of these, and it's such an obvious thing, really. You know, yeah. I mean, I guess you probably don't remember this, Lula, do you? Really? I think Andrew might do just about. Alan probably will, I think. Possibly. Well, Scotty will remember it definitely. Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's a good one. This one, Lula. Unfortunately, not been around for a while. It just makes so much sense, really. But you know, Cadbury have done very odd things lately. But yeah, so there we go. Yeah, an A1 for that one, I think. They had the Fuse. Yes, Cadbury's. This is a Cadbury Fuse bar. Very similar-ish to a picnic, I think. I know it's Alan's favourite one, if Alan's still about. But yeah, it's very. Well, what you say? It's basically got lots of sort of fruity bits, caramel in it, like raisins in. A bit like a sort of. It was a bit like a boost, almost like in the way that it appeared. I think it was, wasn't it? You know, this was at the time I was very much against fruit in chocolate. Really, I'm a bit better with it now and nuts as well. So it never really stood out too much for me, unfortunately. So you could probably imagine it's going to be the way it is. Oh, thank you, Jav. Thank you so much. Yes, please click the like button, everyone. Yeah, it'd be hugely appreciated. Thank you so much. It really would be. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Cadbury's Fuse as well. It was in Cadbury. Well, Miniature Heroes used to be called, but then just called Heroes nowadays. And it's like a you probably all know about what it is, but basically a Cadbury's selection box with various Cadbury's favourites in. It used to be Time Out used to be in it as well, and Fuse. But eventually it just disappeared. Fuse used to be a very big bar for Cadbury. It's not been one of my favourites though. It really hasn't been one because at the time I wasn't really into it. But I think now I probably would prefer it a lot more. Although there is the Cadbury's Picnic, which it isn't the same bar, but I think for me scratches the same itch, so to speak. So I think for me that's okay, and I quite like the proportion of the Picnic as well. But yeah, thanks so much for reminding me, Jabba. I always forget about that, so thank you so much. Yeah, please click the like button, everyone. It really does help out the channel. So thank you so much, and thank you so much, Jabba, for reminding me. Yeah, Cabbage Twirl. Yeah, you're right. It's slightly different, isn't it? It's got one of those. It's quite nice. I like the way it's different as well. You know, it's a nice difference, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. Don't you mean? I thought you would remember the Fuse. Yeah, Scotty, I thought you would. Yes, chocolate brick made with raisins. Yeah. Yes, I think I was thinking of the Indian one, wasn't I? That was a bit like that. Yeah, I didn't. It was. You're right. I do remember it now. I remember each of the mini ones inside Cadbury's Heroes. I didn't mind it, but for me, raisins and stuff like that was just a bit. You know, it wasn't my thing, unfortunately. So I really, if I had it nowadays, I think it probably would be an A or a B, I think. But I'm probably going to give it a C, I think. I know, Alan, you won't like that. I do apologise. I just think for me, I didn't. You know, just when it was around, it wasn't my favourite. It's one I wouldn't have really, you know, because I just was never into it. But I think, you know, it would be nice to bring them back. It's one of those where I guess I could say, well, you know, all right, maybe nowadays I prefer it, so let's put it to an A. But because I'm going by what maybe childhood or maybe past experiences of these chocolates are, what I prefer and stuff like this, you know. So there we go. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Alan. I know. Oh dear, I know what you mean. I know it's horrible. I know. Well, you know, the thing is, I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying it's not one I'd love to have back as much as others. Really, it's just you know, it's obviously subjective, this, of course, but it's just my sort of memories of it and things like this. You know, they're not as strong really because it wasn't one of my favourite bars. Yeah, so it's one of those. Yeah, an interesting one here. Kit Kat Senses. No, it's not the one that came out. I think the one that came out recently might have been discontinued, actually. But this was the original one from a few years back, where it was basically sort of like a segmented bar with sort of a sort of wafery Kit Kat sort of bottom. I think it was the bottom. The top half was like a hazelnut cream, I think, if I remember correctly. Sure, one of you will correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, and it was an interesting one, actually. I don't know if it came out, was it their answer to Kinder Bueno, or did it come out before? I think it might be their answer to Kinder Bueno. It was very strange, very well, different really, because it wasn't anything really like Kit Kat. You know, it's just when I think there was a few bars at the time that just had random other products that were sort of related to it, and seemed to be a thing around then. You know, you had that, and you had some of the Mars products that did different things. You know, they just were other bars that just had the name on them that weren't really, you know, related to like these Mars Delights that we're coming up to in a bit, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think yeah, thanks, Scotty. Yes, it's one of those. This one, I think, for me, basically, I'm not the biggest hazelnut person in the world. You know, that's it. Yeah, it came after Kinder Bueno. Yeah, I thought it probably did. It sounded a bit too. Yeah, I think it was their answer to it, wasn't it? That was in, you know, my recollection anyway. But as I say, yeah, this one I didn't have it loads because I don't know. I just wasn't. Not. I know. Obviously, I know Scotty and Jow as well. Very much hazelnut people. Hazelnut's not really my thing. I know it's not hazelnut in the same sense as whole hazelnuts, but I think, you know, back in the day, before I did this channel, I was very much put off by fruit in chocolate, nuts in chocolate, things like this. I just wasn't really into it, you know. So a lot better these days. But yeah, I think for me, I don't know. It's not quite up there for me. It's not quite up there. I think, you know, I realise it's one of those. It's either a B or a C. Yeah. It just never had the sort of thing for me, really. Late 2000s, late 90s was it Kinder Bueno? I don't believe it. Was it that long ago? Crikey, I can't believe that. Yeah. Cabbage was made by Cadbury Island. I'll say yes. Yeah. Was it really made that difference? Yeah, I just thought it was a different recipe or whatever. But it's interesting. Quite like the way they have that different recipe. But yeah. Yeah, an interesting one, isn't it, where they've had these different things over the years. Yeah, Poland as well now, you say, for most of it. Cadbury's Dairy Milk Island's best like old Cadbury's. I'll have to try that again. I don't know if I've had the Irish actual just dairy milk. I don't think I have. Maybe I'll have to try it. I think for me, Kit Kat Senses, I think it's probably... I like Kit Kat a lot, but I just don't think this one stood for me. I think I was just more into Kit Kat Chunkies and things like this. I think that was where I went belong. So I'm going to say, for me, this one, probably perhaps controversially, again, it's a C, really. I think I know this was probably other people's B or A for sure. I think B's a difficult one because it sounds like it's the average, but it's just, as I say, in this case, it's not quite that. It's just a priority list, I guess. Yeah. Yes. Chop pieces into your homemade choc. Oh, I see. They didn't taste good at all. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, you're not a... see. It's one of those instances, yeah. Sometimes things aren't as good as the sum of its parts, but you make homemade chocolate as well. Well, that's pretty impressive. I should do that. This would be an A for you say, Scotty. Oh, see, that's it, isn't it? That's it. Well, you know, if it was around these days, I think I'd probably put it into a B if it was around now. So, like, you know, I think it would be a bit further up, basically. Yeah, like this one's probably going to be a bit polarizing. This one, Mars Dark. I think it's been called Mars Midnight. Now, Mars bar's a very mundane bar, if you ask me. It's basically sort of like a whipped nougat. We've reviewed quite a few of the knockoff ones in the Morrisons and in the Lidls and the Aldis. What's it called? Own brand specials that we've done. And they're all a bit average. It's an average, a very mundane chocolate bar, basically. As I say, sort of nougat centre topped with caramel, topped with enrobed in milk chocolate. But the Mars Dark was a sort of dark chocolate version, with a sort of vanilla mousse in it. Or not mousse, but vanilla nougat, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it would be a C for you. Well, yeah, unfortunately, this one's a bit of a higher one for me. I really like this one, actually. It just really worked for me. I don't know why. I'm not really a massive dark chocolate fan, but sometimes some things just work, and this one really did for me. I really liked it. I don't know what it was. I just really liked it, and I think I had it refrigerated as well because it was in the sweets machine at my workplace. So this must have been late 2000s, I think. This one, mid to late 2000s. Yeah, I think it's been out a few times actually, but that's when I remember having it anyway. I might have had it before. I think it's been out before that actually, but anyway. Yeah, I love this one actually. I don't know what it was. It just really worked for me, and I think because it was refrigerated, Mars bars for me literally go from a sort of below average mundane bar or an average bar to sort of a very above average, so a relatively high tier bar. And this one is even nicer than that. So it's probably it sounds a bit extreme because it is still Mars bar at the end of the day, but it just worked for me a lot, and I have good memories of it, and I really enjoyed it. And I like the wrapping. I like the it's called like Mars Dark or Mars Noir sometimes, or Mars Midnight. I just like the way it sounds. It just sounds very. I don't know. It really works for me for some reason. I don't know why. So it's an S1 for me. This one. I know it seems a bit bizarre that if you think of what it's above, but it just really hits the spot. I don't know. It just really works for me. Yeah. Yes, Marzel Bites definitely. Mars is definitely a bar for the fridge for sure, Scotty. Yeah, I agree with you definitely. It's definitely a bar. It really ups the bar quite substantially. Like 2 stars in my ratings or 4 out of 10 stars. So it raised 4 stars out of 10. So it was a 4 before it then goes to an 8. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. So there we go. Now we've got Terry's Pyramid here. Now I remember this one. I had this this was probably a late 80s one, this one. Maybe early, mid to late 80s. A bit like a sort of Fry's mint cream centre, essentially, but in a dark chocolate in a pyramid shape. I mean, look at it. It just looks amazing, doesn't it? It's such a good idea. I remember having an Easter egg when I was younger. My mum or my dad or both had bought me an Easter egg. Sort of it was a Terry's Pyramid Easter egg, and I remember I think I ate the egg, but I was saving all the chocolates, and I just for some reason was saving them, and they're in my mum's bedroom for some reason. And I remember I went to after about a month. I thought, right, I've saved these for such a long time. I went to eat them, and they were gone. My mum had ate them. My mum, and it wasn't just that. There was about 5 or 6 Easter eggs that I'd left stuff in, saving them, and my mum had raided them all and eaten them all. Just. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't think I was. I think I was quite. I don't think I was upset as I would have been these days had it happened. I don't know why that was, but yeah, it was, somehow. But yeah, so I was very, very miffed about that. Yeah, these are very nice. I mean, I think they're really novel. These ones, they look really good. I mean, mint, as people know, is not my everyday favourite ingredient, but I do like it when it's done in certain ways, or sometimes it just works for me. At the end of the day, this one's probably just a fondant cream inside a chocolate pyramid. It's not anything, you could argue it's a glorified after 8, but you could argue say that about a few of these kind of things. It really worked very well for me, this one. I really liked it. It's just such a novel idea, and so I don't quite remember how big it was because it was quite small when I had it. It probably was, but it was relatively big. You're talking, a good enough size, like one of those new puds that's come out. Like a good spear size. Not massive though, but yeah. Just remember, it probably was just before your time, perhaps, Scotty. Yeah. I think if you imagine each of the triangle, if you imagine an after 8 was a triangle rather than a square, that's probably the size of it, basically, roughly that size. Yeah, I think for me it's an A, this one. It's an A. It's just such a novel idea. Terry's Pyramids, yeah. Shame they've disappeared, that. But yeah, I hope everyone's all right as well. Well, yeah, thanks, Scott. I hope everyone's doing okay. Good to see everyone, as I say. Really nice to see people. I'd say, yeah, from now on in, by the way, yeah, Stash Watch in the midweek, I'm changing it to be sort of what I'm going to review at the weekend rather than what I've bought, because it was becoming a bit unfeasible, really. Untenable, unfeasible, to keep it going. So it's going to be like a little preview of what I'm going to try to review at the weekend. So it will still involve new stuff, but for, so yeah, hopefully a bit more of a chatty thing as well. I'd like to be a bit of a time to chat to you all and stuff like that as well. So yeah. What's winning on the poll at the moment, by the way? Oh, White Chocolate Maltese is winning at the moment, but it's a tie for everything else. Yeah, see, wow. Interesting. Right, so Mars Delight here this time. Yeah, so this one was a bit of a funny one, wasn't it? Well, obviously chocolate, 2-fingered bar, this one. Seems to be, I'm quite sure it's 2-fingered anyway. Was it just 1 finger? I thought it was just 1 finger actually, but maybe it was 2. Yeah, maybe it was 2. Yeah, I'm sure it's like a sort of crispy, had a crispy biscuit, sort of, not biscuit, but crispy wafery style centre. Was it a bit of nougat or caramel or both in it as well? It was very sort of, it wasn't really like a Mars bar at all actually. It was quite an interesting bar. It was a bit a sort of Kinder Bueno sort of thing again, wasn't it really? Yeah. yeah, it was an interesting one, wasn't it? Yeah, you wouldn't say it was really like a Kinder Bueno, but it was clearly a bit like the way that the Kit Kat Senses was kind of a Kit Kat equivalent to a Bueno. This was kind of a Mars equivalent to it, I would say. It was that kind of, had something a bit more, had a bit of the crunch in it. Interesting one. It was nice actually. It didn't have the hazelnut side to it, of course, like the Kit Kat Senses. I did like this one actually, but again, I don't think I appreciated it too much at the time. But it was a nice one. It was really nice actually, and I do remember it quite fondly, really. But I don't think it sort of passed me by. I think for some reason, I think I was going through a stage where I wasn't eating much chocolate, believe it or not. And around that time was when this was about, really. So I just missed this one. There's a couple of bars like that. But yeah, it's still nice. It's still a nice one. I don't think I'd say it's not quite as high as I think for everyone else. I think just because I didn't have it too much. But I think also the fact that it's you've got kind of Kinder Bueno that kind of ticks this box as well, and that's kind of the same with the Kit Kat Senses as well, really. So it does mean that the nostalgia is not quite as strong for me for these. But honestly, I did like it. It's a B, really, this one. Yeah, it's a B. It's kind of a shame that I can't quite do this, let you vote on these as well, isn't it, at the time? Maybe I could do that, I don't know. But one of those. Maybe I have to think about if there's a way of doing that, really. I don't know if there is, or if it might slow it down too much if I, I'm not sure. But yeah, you say, yeah, what would this be for you, Scotty? What would you think? I reckon that would probably be an A for you, I think. But yeah, interesting one. Yeah, so hopefully I'm describing them quite well, by the way. It's a bit hard to sort of obviously describe them too well, really, especially if the UK bar. I know Joe might be struggling a bit to appreciate some of them because they're based on other bars or similar to other bars that you might not recognise or whatever. So, yeah, so do shout if if my description's not good enough. Now we have the Roundtrees. I think we talked about this the other day in Discord, Scotty. Roundtree's Secret it was. So it's actually labelled as Roundtrees. And nowadays it probably, I don't know, Nestle or whatever, whoever owns it, Cadbury or whoever it is. But this was an interesting bar, this one. Don't know if anyone remembers this. This was the late 80s, early 90s, I think. So like, if you imagine, it's a very weird looking bar. It had like a sort of, if you imagine a sort of tube, lengthways of sort of like a creamy nougat-y centre, basically. A bit like not quite like a Cadbury's Flight or Milky Way, or not a Cadbury's Flight, a Flight Bar or Milky Way, but similar-ish. Like a weird sort of mix of that and maybe a Mars nougat centre. But it was surrounded with what I can only describe as a bird's nest made of chocolate all the way around it as well. So it was like very sort of stringy bits of it wasn't crumbly like a flake, but it was quite solid. So if you imagine if you bit it, it would come off in chunks like if you find some sort of these artisan cakes, they've got like sort of chocolate patterns on them that are very thin layers of chocolate, the way they all stick together. It was a bit like that. It was really, hopefully I'm describing it quite well. Really, really interesting bar, this one, as I say, really an interesting one. I quite liked it. Well, very unique, not like anything else. I'll see if I can find a picture of it actually. Let's see. It's one of those where this is one where if you don't know what it is, it's very hard to see. I just typed in Roundtrees there. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's have a see. I'll just try and find a decent. I mean, it's from the late 80s, so it's not going to have a great image of it. Early 90s. This might be a good image of it. Yes, let's do this one. Right, so just won't be a second. It's worth seeing, this one for sure. Worth seeing. Okay, let's have a look, see if I can add it in. Right, won't be a moment. I'm looking off to the right because that's where my screen is. Allow me to put pictures in, things like that. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I think you might be able to see that. See that here? Maybe you can see it, so I'll just make it a bit bigger. Yeah, I think you can possibly see that now. Yeah, so it's a bit blurred, the image, but you can probably see it. So you can see it's like that sort of fluffy centre with a weird sort of bird's nest style sort of thing around it, so if you dissect it like that, it looks like a sort of nest with rather than eggs in it. It's got like fluffy centre in it. Yeah, very interesting one, that one. Really nice, actually. I have very good memories of that. Really good memories of that one. Just different as well, so unique and different, So I think for me, this one, I think it's probably it's probably another A, you know. It's just something so different about it and interesting, and it's just the consistency of it as well was really nice. Yeah, I did really enjoy that one. Yeah, I did enjoy it a lot. Yeah. I don't think that'll ever come back. I just don't think anyone really knows about it anymore. It's one of those it's just past. I think people who do remember it are probably, you know, not really into online petitions and stuff like that, you know, and then yeah, it's just one of those, and it's not really. You just don't hear about it either, you know. So there we go. Now, yeah, white Maltese. Now, I know I think Andrew loved these ones. I think Scotty might have done as well. Now, yeah, this one for me, I think this is one again where I might disappoint you on this one. I think just of it is that it kind of, I don't know, it sort of passed me by a bit, and I did have, and they're not the same, but I did have the white chocolate ones from Poundland, I think they were, and I know they're not the same, but I just feel like, but when he did do white chocolate Malteser truffles, I think they were called truffles. I just don't think white chocolate and sort of the malt sensor goes too well for me. It just doesn't seem to work as well, you know. Can't really describe why that is, but just for me it does. I know a lot of people it does. I just didn't think it did really. I think I just didn't think it did. You know, it's not horrible or anything. I don't mind it. But I don't know. It just didn't really do it for me, really, is the gist of it. Yeah, it's a bit of a controversial one. I know a lot of people like this, but for me, I think it's probably a C, I think, really. I just don't, you know, I like white chocolate, so I like the difference, but it just didn't really do it. So I know it's a bit of a controversial one. You'll probably hate me for it, yes. But there we go. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, but yeah. Not many in B at the moment, is there really? I think B is a bit of a difficult one to fill. Mars Planets next. These were quite interesting. They've released some Mars mix, haven't they, at the moment? Yeah, shocky. Yeah, you think, what would you have here, Scotty? I think you'd have it as an A probably, wouldn't you? Mars Planets, there's Mars mix-ups, I think, around them, or something they call something like that, but they're basically just, just caramel and nougat, I think. I can't quite recall. The Mars Planets were basically, I think there was 3 different types. I think there was basically one with I think it had crunchy bits in. One strangely had crunchy bits in. I don't know why. It was quite crunchy. One had caramel, and I think one had a nougat centre. I don't know why the crunchy one. I think the crunchy one had a centre as well, like a chocolate centre or something. Yeah, I thought it'd be an A for you. Yes, yeah. Yes, enjoy them. They were a good one, Mars Planets. They punched above the weight, Mars Planets. They were better than some of the parts. They just worked for some reason. It's like Mars out of a fridge just works, you know. Yeah, Mars Planets, they were nice. I don't think they were, you know, they were really nice, actually. I think it's tempting for me where to put these. As I say, they were just basically the components of a Mars bar, plus possibly inexplicably, I'm not really sure if that's too strong a word, but for no reason at all, there was one with crispy bits in. But it was good that it was there because it provided a real difference, which is why the Mars mix-ups that exist now aren't as good, because they're just too boring, you know, and they're just like a Mars bar almost. And as I say, Mars bar's a bit of a below average chocolate bar, really. But the Mars Planets just added that extra thing, and it really lifted them up. And also the size of them worked really well. Really nice, really interesting, actually. Like Scotty says, they were good. I just don't know. I'm tempted. It's between an A and a B, basically, for me. Between an A and a B. I just don't know if they were... Yeah. E. You know, I don't know. I mean, they were, you know... I did like them a lot, actually. I could enjoy them a lot. I think... It's very close to being an A, but I think I'm just going to put them in a B. But I think it's very close to an A. I do like them. It's very hard, this one, to be honest with you, because there's nostalgia that comes into this as well. That's the thing, you see. So it's not just... There's a few factors that come into it, and I don't have much of a nostalgia for Mars Planets compared to some others. I don't know, because Mars is still around and things. I don't know. It's a bit like the Mars Delight, really, the way that had crunchy bits in as well. So it seemed like they'd got the crunchy bits from that and put them in the Mars Planets as well. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Mars, because maybe it's a bit recent, and also there's just, I don't know, for some reason it's just not quite as high on my list for things I want to bring back, and that's basically what this is, what I would like to come back. You can see Mars Dark's quite high, But it just really worked that for some reason. I just found it quite a nice bar and everything. I don't know. It's very strange to say really, but you wouldn't have thought that. But there we go. Especially when compared to other things on here. But interesting. Echoes would be a B. Yeah, I think I might agree with you there. Scotty. I know Andrew will complain if he's still about, but I do like Foxy's biscuits and Echo as well. Very interesting. It's like white chocolate on top with a sort of, I think it's a biscuity chocolate bottom, I seem to remember. Definitely, possibly an S, you say, Andrew. I see. The peppermint would be a B. Yeah, I don't think I ever had the peppermint one. I don't think. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I think they were very good as biscuits go. I think they were really good. I think it probably is a B for me though, Andrew. I do apologise for this. I think it's I think just because I didn't have them that much, I didn't grow a fondness for them as much as you did. I don't think. For whatever reason, I think it was around that time where I just wasn't having chocolate as much. I don't know. I think this one, maybe the Mars Delight suffered a bit because of that. I don't think I had them quite as much as other bars, basically. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, but yeah. You all forgotten how great they were. Yeah, texture of chocolate. Bubbly white chocolate biscuit. To be honest, I know what you mean. I think it's a difficult one. You used to get Foxy's white lunchbox at primary. Yeah. A while in the lunchbox. Yeah, see. Yeah, that was it. I think that's the thing as well, Andrew. I mean, obviously, not to say that you're wrong about the taste, but obviously it has that nostalgia value for you as well. And it doesn't really have that as much for me. So it's one of them. I think for me, I do think it's really nice, and I do like the textures, as you say. It's such a nice set of textures, but it doesn't quite have the nostalgia as the other ones do. But I think as a taste bar, it is really nice. I do know what you mean. Yeah, funny one though, actually, because nostalgia is a funny thing. Because I'm about to say it can depend really, because some things are just so unique as well. I feel like I guess I don't know. It's a very difficult one. It's quite subjective. Sometimes I don't know. I think all these bars on here are almost all of them. I think you might have alluded to one, Andrew, but yeah. But most of these are really nice. It's very hard. This is just sort of like if I had to, what if I got really sort of fond memories of eating, stuff like that. What sort of really do I think was really nice and things like this, and also just what would I like to see back as well. And I guess the sort of like the white sort of chocolate on it, again in the Echoes. But I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't quite strike me as enough. I guess because there's quite nice Foxy's biscuits out there as well. I don't know. Hard one to say. But I'm not saying you're wrong by any means. Yeah, I think you're right though, Andrew, as well. There was something a bit. They weren't quite that popular, were they? I think basically. I don't know why that was. To be honest with you, I don't know why. Yeah, maybe they were just too indulgent, but in a market that was not really there for indulgence. If you know what I mean, it was there more for kids' lunchboxes and. Whereas it was really more parents that would eat it, or should be eating it. Maybe it was that, I don't know. But yeah, there was something odd about that. I think maybe they should have been maybe just marketed different or put in a different section, but unfortunately they're probably just in the biscuit section. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Yeah. A recent Kit Kat. Yes, this is it. This is relatively. This is only 2 years old. This one. This is why I had to backtrack slightly when I was saying a lot of the nostalgia is what makes them go high. Because this was only from a couple of years back, but it was so distinct. It was a weird range. There was a Yorkie that came out in the same range as well, but it wasn't quite the same as this. It didn't have this one had like a raspberry and strawberry sort of, almost like a sauce layer you get on ice cream on top of the Kit Kat Chunky. Really interesting one, this one. It was so different. It might have had something else in it. It might have had bits of some kind of nut in it, but I didn't really. But it was mainly the sort of sauce on top. It was so distinct and lovely, actually. I think someone was it Alan? It might have been Alan, really, when you were trying to find them, I think. I don't know if Alan's still there. I'm sure he was searching for them. And I think I had one that was about 2 years out of date or something. Or was it one of those? Was it the Yorkie? I can't remember now. So I have some vague recollection of this conversation anyway. But long story short is... I thought, well, I can't really send it to you because it would be massive. Well, no, I think if I did have one, it would have been 2 years out of date, but I let them all, basically. I think that was the gist of it. But yeah, these are from relatively recent, really. Literally, probably 2019, maybe 18. Just so distinct, such difference. I mean, you get all these other limited edition Kit Kat Chunkies, some of them, or just Kit Kat Chunkies, like the peanut butter one, the cookie dough one, the New York cheesecake, whatever it is. Some of them, and some of them are just not that great, or they're very unimaginative. This one was so much different, and Yeah, meant to be. Was it 30% less calories? Or something. I'm sure it said something like 30% less calories or something, but it tasted really nice. And I really think this one was such a novel idea and so interesting to have. Compared to most other things that come out, most other chocolates that come out, limited edition things. Imagine a limited edition Whisper without the caramel, Whisper Gold, without the caramel, with like a raspberry or strawberry sauce on it. Something so different and unique as that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I really like this one. I don't know if I could stretch to say an S for it, just because I think it's too recent for that. I don't know, but it was really nice, and I love Kit Kat Chunkies. They are a really nice chocolate bar. I'm tempted to go for an S, as just on the last minute, Just yeah, I wasn't thinking I'd put it in there really. Very difficult list though, to be honest with you. This one, I must say, it is very difficult. It's almost like a priority of what I'd like to see again. You know what I mean? As well as how much I enjoyed them, as well as my memories of them. So it's a really hard list to do. Actually, I must say, it's I feel like, yeah, amazing Kit Kat. Never did get the Yorkie. Yeah, the Yorkie one wasn't as good to Yorkie as this was to Kit Kat. I think I'm going to throw it in an S. I'm just going to go for it. It was really that unique and nice, and Kit Kat Chunkies are lovely. Strange one. I didn't expect that to go there, but just off, it's just happened. Yeah. Yeah, the Yorkie one wasn't as good to Yorkie as this one was to Kit Kat, basically. It was really nice, this one. Did it have apple in? Was the Yorkie an apple one or something like that? I mean, it was still nice, the Yorkie one, to be honest with you, but this one, I don't know. The Yorkie one was still good. I didn't include the Yorkie one here. Because I don't know, it just didn't quite, it just didn't quite, I don't know, I should have perhaps included the Yorkie one, but I didn't. I think this one was just overshadowed it. I just felt like this one was in the same range. I don't know, maybe I should have done. There's a few things I probably should have included, so, it's like the Drifter as well, maybe, but we'd probably be here forever otherwise, I think, so yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, and we've got the Spira as well. Spira, if you want to say. I always call it the Spira. Wooton, you say. I thought you'd like this one, Alan. Yeah, you really liked it, didn't you? You really liked it. I remember, I remember you really liked it. Yeah, I do remember that. And did you? It was you, wasn't it, Alan? I'm sure it was you I was talking to about it when, I'm sure you were trying to find it at one point. I'm sure it was at the Yorkie one. I can't recall now. I'm not sure. But anyway, clearly you're a fan of it, so yes. Maybe it was someone else, but I just seem to remember talking about it anyway. But the Spira now. This one again is one that really sort of had a lot of memories for me. I remember just having this quite a lot when I was at university and things like this. It wasn't a very exciting bar to look at, but it just really worked. It's got the glass and a half there symbol, so I guess it was dairy milk as well. I thought it was, Alan. I thought it was you. Yes, it's just that. I just wasn't sure. I was just thinking, I'm sure you did get it. So maybe you were just trying to find another one. Yeah, so that was it. I was just thinking maybe I had it in my mind that you never managed to find one. Really nice, really nice. Really good bar, that Kit Kat one. I think I have to say, it's very, very strange for it to be so recent as well, but so up there. But it was so unique, and I am a fan of Kit Kat Chunkies, so there we go. So the Spira now, yes, interesting. Well, it's just mainly solid chocolate, really, but it had like a sort of wheel design going on at 2 fingers, and sort of like like a quite thick chocolate. But if you imagine, looked a bit like a wheel, so it had like spokes, like a spoke effect, sort of. But only sort of a 3 or 4 star wheel, if you know what I mean, or spoked wheel. So there wasn't that many spaces in between it. But so you could use it perfectly as a straw for hot drinks. It was a perfect straw. You could nibble off both ends. Use it as a straw. It's like built for it. Built for it. It literally was. Just really nice. I really like this one. I don't know what it was. It was really just solid chocolate. There was no frills to it, but it really did it for me. I really liked it, and it was such a shame that it disappeared. It just really worked. I don't know, a bit like if you imagine like a twirl, but not quite as flaky, but with still the sort of similar-ish texture, just a bit harder because of the sort of the spokes, I guess, to it. If you know what I mean, the holes in between the fingers. Just worked really well. It was just really nice. Had a nice crisp bite to it, but as I say, it worked because it had the gaps in, so it wasn't too solid. It just was really nice. Again, I think this is a bit one that not many. Well, I think a few people do remember it looking online actually, but I don't hear people talking about it. But for me, this was really nice. It's definitely up there as an S. This one, I think it's just bumped up by the fact that I just remember having nice memories of it. Really, eating it before and after university and stuff like this. So Really nice one, that one. Yeah, Spyro, I really wish to bring it back, but they probably never will. It looked great as well. I love the wrapper on it. I don't know, it just was really nice. But it's like another one of those where Cadbury's just did so many similar bars, I think. I think that's probably what happened with the Fuse as well, and maybe even the Timeout. But having said that, the Timeout now was one of the similar-ish, well, maybe similar-ish bars to the Spyro, like a two-fingered bar. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, not sure. Might have been talking rubbish there, but yeah, now I got the Timeout as well. I really enjoyed the Timeout. For me, it was a beautiful bar. This one, it was a bit two-finger bar. Had sort of like sort of chocolate-covered wafer essentially, but in between the wafer was essentially like a twirl center. So really nice, actually. It really worked for me. This was another one that used to be inside Cadbury's Miniature Heroes, it was called at the time, or it changed later to Heroes, which is what it's called now. Really nice, this one. Really, really liked it. It just had so many different textures and tastes through it, and I just loved it, really. And they've changed it to, they've discontinued it now, and you can just get Timeout wafers, which are just terrible. They don't have they're just like a wafer bar. They don't have the sort of like the twirl chocolate in between the wafers or anything. It's just not very pleasant. I'm not a fan of it really at all. This one was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I think for purposes that we'll see later, I'm not going to give it quite as high as you'd think I would do. I'm just going to put it as an A. But it was really nice. Really enjoyed that one. It was a lovely bar, and I really do miss that one. I really do. Yeah. So it probably is an S for the most part, but we'll come to why it isn't in a bit. The United bars, it was that's like foil, the wrapper there, so it's like a blue foil and a silver foil. And there was I think there was a dark chocolate one that had orange foil as well. It's not Manchester United or anything like that, by the way, although it did have a football on top, so they were clearly aiming it at that kind of thing. I don't know, but obviously it was blue, but there was an orange one, as I say. It was just like a sort of biscuit bar, really. It was just it was one I had when I was very young. This one, I had when I was very, very young. And you're talking early to mid 80s now. That's when I was, that's how old I am. So yeah, try not to pass it on too much. But yeah, so but I just have fond memories of it. This was my sort of first thing in my lunchbox, really. This kind of thing. Really nice, this one. I think Blue Ribbons as well were around then as well. Probably clubs when they were even more, nicer than they are today, just thicker chocolate. I think breakaways as well, I think we're around then. Trios as well, of course. Was it Taxi as well? I think there was one called Taxi as well. I can't quite recall that one, but yeah, maybe that should have gone, but I just can't quite remember it as much. Really nice, this one, but again, I can't remember it too well. I think it was just essentially like a thick biscuit bar covered in chocolate. It was really nice. Was it wafer? No, I don't think it was wafer. Yeah, can't remember it too well, but the fondness of it, I'd love to see it back, just because it reminded me so much of my childhood, really. I'd love to see that. Yeah, you remember them, Balan, do you? Yeah, they were very nice, weren't they? I just remember really liking them. They were quite thick as well. They weren't massive or anything, but especially when I was younger, I guess. I'd love to see them back, just because it's one of those where if I went back in time, and there's obviously lots of things I'd do before it, but it'd be one of the ththings I'd love to, love to just try again, because I, just can't remember it too well at all. Other than that, I really like them. Like Alan said, I just remember just really loving them. Yeah. Just one of those things, just one of those things that would be nice to see again. So I don't know. I don't think I can quite rate it. I think this is a lot of nostalgia. Well, yeah, it does have a lot of nostalgia for me. But I think I'm probably going to put it as a B. I think, thick chocolate, crunchy kind of toffee pieces on top. I can't quite I can't recall too much. I know it's like thick. Sort of chocolate. I remember sort of being biscuity, but I could be wrong on that one. Yeah, it was just something. I just remember it's one of my first sort of chocolate ones to have, really. Yeah, Drift. I think I mentioned it before, Scotty. I think I forgot to include that one. Basically, is the gist. So I might do an honourable mention at the end, or I might try and put it in. Drifter. There's a couple, you see. I was just a bit worried about including it, so we'll probably discuss it at the end. I think we'll discuss it at the end. I think. Yeah, so there we go. Normally I would post-production edit, put it back in the edit, but obviously I can't do that now. I could go back and do the thing again, but I don't know whether it'd lose where we're up to and stuff like this. It might not, it might do. But Whisper Bites, yeah, this one, a lot of people have been speaking about Whisper, don't remember this one too well. I've moved Whisper Mint just down a bit because just having two Whispers next to each other. This is basically a Whisper Gold, but it had biscuit pieces in as well. For me, this was perfect, really, because I love biscuit pieces in in chocolate, and this one had the caramel. It was lovely aerated whisper chocolate, and it had crunchy, biscuity bits in as well. I mean, literally the perfect whisper as far as I'm concerned. Lovely bar. I can't find many pictures of it online either. It's very strange. I think this was shortly before the whisper disappeared. I think maybe they just made too many of them, Cadbury or something. I'm not sure. We did have Anton Deck in the advertising campaign. I remember seeing that on the. If you look online, you can find that. Really nice, this one. I think this was probably early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, maybe early. I think, because I think the whisper disappeared in mid 2000s, didn't it? So yeah. Maybe it was earlier than that, I can't think. But either way, really nice. Just imagine just a whisper with crunchy biscuit pieces in and caramel as well. Gorgeous. What's not to like? The perfect whisper, really. It was the perfect whisper. So I think for me, it's definitely an S, that one. Really liked it. I mean, I'd say it's definitely an S. I don't feel like I'm sort of chomping at the bit for it to come back. So I was thinking maybe put it as an A. But I think it was such a perfect implementation of a whisper that it has to be an S. It has to be an S. Yeah. Then we have this Wonka late bar as well. Now, this one, there's some Wonka chocolate you'll see online, and I don't know, I don't think it's quite as extreme as this one. I think that's, I think the Wonka late you get is just generally bars of chocolate that come in, look like just the bars from, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever. But this one, it was basically, imagine the chocolate colour was literally that purple that you see on it here. It was that colour. I mean, it probably would, considered, I don't know, a crime against humanity or something like that. So, or illegal or something like this. The amount of colouring that would have made the chocolate purple, but it was literally that colour. It had these bright green balls in it as well, these crunchy ball things I think they were as well. I remember this was around university time as well for me, and I just thought it was so unique and so interesting. There's a picture of one online. I think someone found one or had one still, and they opened it, and it was all faded and things like this. It's the only known picture of it, really, I think, that I can see online. There's not really any other pictures of it at all. There's some wrappers that I found like this one, but that was the only, because it was, it was just around the time, just before during, basically the internet was getting popular. People didn't really have phones to take photos of and stuff, very easily, so it just kind of disappeared. It was only around for a very short period of time, but I really, this was really sort of, good. It was so unique, and that's purple chocolate. Purple's my favourite colour as well, so it's got that going on. It looked great, so different and interesting. What can I say? I think I've got, this was definitely highly biased, but it was really nice as well. I do remember really liking it, but just the fact that it was purple chocolate, it was so extreme. I mean, I don't know, as I said, they probably couldn't get away with making it these days. Imagine, they banned the blue Smarties at one point. I mean, imagine what they'd make of this. It was literally that colour purple. Yeah, it was only around for a very short period of time, and it just so happened that the newsagents I used to go to on my way to university had this in. It wasn't available in many places, so it was one of those, I think. Wonka Wild. This was basically, those were more normal. This was a very extreme bar. This was like 99, 2000, this one. We're talking a good 21 years ago. Really special memories for me for this one. I think it's an S for sure. It's just one of those, it's just a special one for me. And you don't get anything like that either. I've never seen anything like it before or since. Really nice. Now I got these, what are these? Milky Bar Wowsums. I mean, Andrew mentioned these before. They were just a complete flop. They disappeared. It was when there was a thing of, I think it's still around now, but you don't really hear about it anymore. So I don't know what's happened. I mean, I don't know whether chocolate companies just got round it, but there was like a limit to how much sugar you could have in chocolate or something, or there was a big push to put less sugar in chocolate. So these ones came out where it was like 30% less chocolate, and you saw lots of bars saying 30% less chocolate. You don't see it anymore, so I don't know whether they've just shrunk all the bars or changed the recipes or something. They probably shrunk all the bars, but basically you don't see it anymore. Anything labelled like this, I don't really know. Sometimes you see it with, there's one Cadbury's Dairy Milk, I think, that said 30% less chocolate. That did come out, and it still might be around, but it was definitely a thing that was taken up by a few companies. And these Wowsums, they look great. They're basically sort of like a white chocolate outer with a sort of white chocolate sort of creamy filling, or a milk chocolate one, but it was cream anyway. But they just weren't very nice at all. I remember reviewing them and just was really disappointed after really looking forward to them, because they looked a bit like an almost modern day vice versa almost, but they were just completely different. I think the mix-ups were a bit like that, but they weren't as good either. Yeah, which is a similar thing. So maybe it's those as well as disappointing. But yeah, they were very mundane, very poor. They were really poor. I don't think anyone was sad to see them go. No one really liked them. There's not many in the DT. I don't know if there'll be any more really, but this one, they were just a poor product. And they came out, lasted maybe a year at most. Could be as little as 6 months. They were just not great. They weren't great. Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, that's definitely a D one. Those good riddance to them. We don't want them back. No one wants them back. And there's better things of a similar nature out there as well, like the vice versa or the mix-ups that they do, which aren't as good as vice versa, but a similar thing. Yeah, so there we go. Now the Cabbage Dream. I don't think this is the original wrapper for the Dream. I think this is the modern wrapper, but I couldn't find it probably is somewhere. I did see it at some point, but I just couldn't find it in time for the for this tier list. Yeah, so basically, it's white chocolate, Cadbury's white chocolate. I mean, there's not much more to say than that, really. But white chocolate was more of a thing back then with Cadbury. But they since they've come back with Cadbury's white now and a few white chocolate products. But they just stopped it around 15 years ago or something? I don't know if it's that long. I think it was that long ago. It just disappeared, and a lot of people missed it. It was really. At the time, I wasn't a big white chocolate person for me. So this one for me is probably not as high as it would be for lots of other people. I know a lot of you out there really missed this bar. I remember when I first started the channel. Particularly Andrew and I think Luke Carrigan as well, when he's about. He was definitely mentioning this one, possibly Scotty. But for me, I was never really a big white chocolate fan. I'm still not the biggest white chocolate fan, I must say, but I do appreciate it, and I do like Nestle Milky Bar. Definitely, it's a lovely white chocolate. Nestle White Chocolate Crunch. Yeah, I think this one for me is just not as high as it is for other people, unfortunately. It's going to sound a bit harsh. I'm going to put it as a C, really. It's just not really my... I don't miss it as much. I know other people probably have it as an A, maybe an S, I think probably an A for most people, but I'm just wasn't that big into white chocolate really at the time. I don't miss it that much. Of course, I think Nestle Milky Bar for me does it for me anyway. I think that's kind of, I don't feel like Cabbage Dream would be quite as I think I'd probably still just have Milky Bar over it basically. So yeah. Now, Whisper Mints this time as well. This is another one that sort of seemed to have disappeared. No one really talks about. Basically, imagine Whisper Gold, but instead of caramel, it's got like a mince layer on the top. Yeah. So, hi Poppy, how you doing? Yeah. Yes, Drifter. I know this is it. It's just they've just subtly disappeared. But yeah, they have. Yeah, they've subtly disappeared. I know I believe so. Anyway, Scotty and possibly maybe Alan, but I think it's Andrew as well mentioned it before. I think no one's seen it for a long time. You might still be able to get it in European shops, or ones that have imported it from Europe, like the White Chocolate Crunch, maybe. Yeah, I mentioned it now. I was going to talk about it a bit later. But basically, for me though, a Lion Bar is a finger of Drifter, but with chocolate mixed with Rice Krispie pieces covered on top. So for me, I would always have a Lion Bar over a Drifter anyway. You know what I mean? I know it's only one finger, but it's basically that you've got a Drifter but more. So I've never really quite got the got the Drifter, because for me, yeah, it's been gone a few years. Yeah, I think it has disappeared. It's just suddenly disappeared. But as I say, for me, the Lion Bar, yeah. That's a Drifter but more. So I've never really had an affinity for Drifter. I know a lot of people do. I don't know if a lot of people realise that it is basically a Lion Bar but without the topper on it. So I don't know if so I would definitely recommend getting a Lion Bar instead. But yeah, so there we go. Yeah. But then obviously, if you don't like Rice Krispie pieces, of course you might be in trouble. But yeah, but yeah, I'll go back to the Joe. I'll try and add it on in the mini text. I'll try and add it on at the end. Yeah. Well, last year, the Tyrants in the shops weren't the ones that, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Poppy, it's one of those, isn't it, Poppy? I must admit, you'd think it'd be the same, but then you have it. What on earth's this? What's this nonsense? This Time Out wafer? It's terrible. Yeah, it's a terrible. I don't know what they've done. Yeah, I don't know what they've done there. They could have just done one finger of Time Out as well. If they wanted to reduce it and put it into that range of products, like the biscuit bar range or whatever. Yeah, real shame, isn't it? Yeah, they've you can miss some of these, I think. I think Drifter's one of those, because I think a lot of people haven't missed it disappearing because it's not a top tier bar as such. I don't know, but it has got a fan base there. I don't know. It's just one that's easily missed, I think. Yeah. My Maltesers, yeah, I got them in C. I thought you might, yeah, I wondered where you gone, Andrew. I thought you might not have liked that, yeah. Honestly. Yeah, we just talked about Drifter though, Andrew, as well. You've noticed it disappeared, didn't you? Scotty says a few years back. Yeah, I must admit, it just seems to just slowly drift away, ironically. But yeah, I didn't mean to bring that pun, but there we go. Whatever, but yeah. But Whisper Gold Mint, yeah, well, Whisper Mint actually, yeah, Whisper Gold, but without the caramel, but with like a mint layer on top as well, a bit like a sort of fondant mint. I'm not a massive mint person, but obviously Whisper's nice, with mint on it on top. I don't miss it too much because I say I'm not a big Whisper fan, and the Whisper Bite was where it's at for me, and I kind of preferred the Whisper Gold as well. So the Whisper Mint, I think it's one for mint fans only. As I say, mint for me, I don't know, I'm not the biggest mint person, so it's probably a C for me, this one. Sound a bit harsh, I guess. Sound a bit harsh. Yes. You're lovely, you say. Yeah, I just didn't. I thought white chocolate and Maltesers just didn't quite work as well for me. And when I tried the, I tried the sort of white chocolate malt balls from Poundland and the Maltesers, was it Senses or Truffles? The white chocolate. I just didn't think it worked for me as much. It didn't excite me as much. Yeah, so I realised that for some people, you like yourself, it's a very nice one. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. That's why but it's still, I'm not saying they're horrible really. I think the C tier is kind of my lowest priority bringbacks basically. But it's not I don't want them back. It's just there's ones above it that I'd rather have. So if I had to pick a couple straight away, it'd be like from the S tier. You know what I mean? Is the gist of it. But if I had all the choice in the world, then yeah. There we go. So you can see these banners are appearing now at the bottom. Yeah, normally I would have edited these out, but well, I could still do it, but obviously there's not much point. You've seen them now. So now we have this one there. I don't know if anyone remembers this one. This one I remember having this one when I was working part time. I think I have a maybe between university years and the summer holidays, I think, or maybe it was just after when I graduated. I can't remember. Strawberries and Dream, basically. So it was like a cabbage dream, but with strawberry pieces in, little freeze-dried strawberry pieces in. So really nice, this one, of course. Well named as well. Interesting product. I can't find many pictures of it online. There's only a couple, well, relatively few anyway. Really nice. So it's obviously, for me, better than a cabbage dream. Probably Wider Dreams in the C tier because I think this one is just something that's better. I didn't really have any massive affinity to it though, I must say, to the point where it's hard to say whether it would really go in the B tier, you know what I mean? But I think maybe it will, just to differentiate it, but it's a difficult one. But I think it's quite more of a unique product than the rest of them. So it's probably a high C or low B. So it's probably the lowest in the B tier, maybe. But as I say, just imagine Cabbage Dream, but with sort of raspberry, strawberry, sort of freeze-dried strawberry pieces, little bits of it, quite filled with it as well, quite nice. Really works well with white chocolate, as you can imagine. Strawberries and cream, white chocolate's relatively sort of that sort of way inclined. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, really nice. Yeah. Now, Cabbage Marble, I know this one perhaps isn't quite up there as it might have been because they've released it in Australia now. It's become a bit more prominent. But basically, sort of like a noisette. Sort of middle with a sort of marbled topper, so it wasn't really marbled all the way through, so like a mix of white chocolate and dark chocolate with a sort of noisette filling, which is kind of like a sort of hazelnutty praline filling or what have you. Just cracked open a tub of Ben and Jerry's cookie dough. Wow, I'm very, 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 very jealous there. That's one of my favourites. Yeah, that was where it all started for me, Ben and Jerry's, I think. As soon as I had the cookie dough one, I think I was hooked. I did quite like the brownie one, but I think the cookie dough one was so different, and I really liked it. It's strange it's only vanilla ice cream, but their vanilla ice cream is very nice. Yeah, I remember the marble. Well, they did it, Australia, haven't they? They did it as well. I think this one for me, now, it's not as bad as the Wowsums and things, but I just don't have anything real affinity for this one. It's another noisette sort of centre one. It looked great, but it wasn't really that interesting for me. It was only sort of, white chocolate marbled on top. The inside was basically just noisette. There was no white chocolate on the inside. It was just a marbling on top. So there's not much white chocolate to it. It was very, yeah. Marble's too sweet on the outside, Poppy. Yeah, I think it wasn't really up to much, was it? It didn't do it for me. You love the sensor though, did you? I see, okay. Maybe this would be higher for you. I think I'm being a bit, I probably normally might say this in C for me, but I think, I don't know, I'm I never really sort of took to the sensors for these, like the sort of noisette sensor. Is it hazelnut or almond one? I think it's hazelnut, wasn't it? Sort of sensory. And I'm still not that bothered by them today generally. And I think, it's good news though, Poppy. There is you can get in B&M. You can get a Cadbury's marble from Australia. So it is available now. If you're lucky, you can still get it in B&M, and it's a reasonable price. Big bar as well. Don't know if it's quite the same because it's a slightly different recipe being Cadbury's Australia, but worth checking out. I think I've got it to review actually. But excuse me. Yeah, this one, I don't know. It didn't really do it for me, Poppy. I'm sorry about this. You probably might be a bit disappointed, but but I think it's probably a D for me. It's definitely better than the Welsums. The Welsums were just not very good. This one, it's not that it wasn't good. It just wasn't. It didn't really do it for me. Basically, it's not one. It's very much on the lower tier of ones I'd like back. Basically, so it's not that it was horrible or anything. It just didn't do much for me, unfortunately. Yeah, didn't do much for me. So do the white chocolate crunch next. We'll leave that one till relatively last. We might try and get the drifter in. Okay, can I? No, okay, yes, yeah. Might try and get the old drifter in as well. We'll see about that. White chocolate crunch. I really like this one actually. Nestle white chocolate. I mean, there's one. It's a funny one. This one. Normally, milk chocolate versions are better than the white chocolate ones, in my view. Normally, I prefer them. But the vice versa were not the case with this one, and the crunch bars as well. The white chocolate, milk chocolate. The white chocolate one was so much better than the milk chocolate one because Nestle milk chocolate just generally isn't that great, but Nestle white chocolate is amazing. It's some of the nicest white chocolate, if not the nicest white chocolate there is. It's like a bar, basically Rice Krispies covered in thick white chocolate. Basically, it's very simple. But you could buy big bar versions of the milk chocolate one, but not the white chocolate one. Unfortunately, it's always a shame. But you still can get the milk chocolate one, I think, unless they've discontinued that as well in recent months. But and get big bar versions of it. But this was I really like this one actually. Really loved it. It's still available on imports, I think, so you can still kind of get it. It's still the same bar, but you just have to get it from mainland Europe basically. So technically still available, but not really. I mean, for me, it's tempting to say it was an S. I was probably going to put it as an S at the start. Yeah, you did. That's right. Yes. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, Scotty. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, lovely. Lovely it was as well, yes. I think it's probably an S, but I don't know. Not sure. For some reason, I don't know why. I just feel like it more of an A today. On another day, it might have been an S, actually, because it was one of my favourite bars. I really did like it. I think it was just because it was just not quite as... I don't know. It didn't quite wow me as much as the other ones, even though it did, sort of. I think it was just about... I don't know. Something... I don't know what it was. I did really like it. It was one of my favourite bars. As this was the Time Out as well. So it's a bit of a funny one. Yeah. They occasionally turn up in bargains in a big bar, do they? The white chocolate ones. Well, I'll have to definitely keep an eye out for that. That would be a good day to see that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, an interesting one, that one then. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm surprised I've not put them in the S tier. I don't know why. But I think the A tier is still a very good tier, though, I must say. Anything in the A tier is still very good. I think it's just if I had to pick one off the top of my head, it's not quite replicated at the moment and stuff like that. I don't know, that really brings back memories of it. I don't know. The S tier probably would just have it over the A tier, but it's very close. These are all lovely bars. It's very difficult, really. I think, yeah, it's a difficult one. Yeah, milk chocolate for certain. All right, well, yeah. The milk chocolate one, I've seen the large milk chocolate one sometimes in Asda as well. I think it does sometimes appear, but it was a while back, maybe a year ago since I've seen it now. But I have seen it, but yeah, it seems to be disappearing as well. Really, it seems to be disappearing as well. Yes, this one you might have been able to see it, but there's hardly any pictures of this. The only picture I could find other than this, and this was hard to find, was a screenshot of a Cadbury's Coronation Street sponsorship advert, Yeah, so yeah, I haven't seen milk chocolate crunch either, Poppy. Yeah, maybe it's disappeared then. Yeah, it could be. I didn't put it on this list because I wasn't sure, but yeah, it could have been one that's gone, which is a shame as well. Really. It wasn't as good as the white chocolate one, I didn't think, but it was still a good bar. I think for me it probably would have been a C tier one for this one. But what we've got here, now a lot of people don't remember this. I don't think it was around much. You can't see it very well. I could have tried to zoom in, but it would have blurred it in the face. But it's a Time Out Chunky, this one. A Time Out Chunky. Imagine a Kit Kat Chunky, but it was Time Out. That's basically what it was. Your big finger of Time Out. Absolutely fantastic. This is why the timeout is in A, not in S, because this one was the timeout. It was absolutely fantastic. It was just a big, chunky, and this was back. I think it was only, I don't know, it was. I reckon it was probably 99, 2000 it was. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember this one. It was only around for a bit, Scotty, I think. It was very, yeah, it just wasn't around much, I don't think. But I remember it because it was, I loved it. And I was so disappointed. I remember it probably was, maybe 2001 at most when it was around until, I think after that it disappeared. I'm not sure. You can't find any pictures of it really online either. This was probably the best picture I could find of it, of the wrapper. I think I might have managed to find one a while back, but yeah, I don't remember it either, Poppy. Yeah, it was it wasn't around for long, this one, and we're talking over 20 years ago now, I think. Really nice though. It was just the perfect. It might just time out, but one massive chunky finger of time out, a really big. It was just, I mean, as the time out before was 2 layers of wafer, quite thick layers, covered in chocolate, but in the middle was a twirl essentially, like fluffy sort of flaky-ish Cadbury, so I guess dairy milk, maybe not, well, not quite dairy milk, but that sort of chocolate, really nice. And this was obviously a massive version of it, like, lovely, really tall as well. It wasn't just wide, it was tall. It was a big chunky bar, and this was, I say, they've shrunk bars in recent years, and obviously I think at this point it was a bigger bar as well. The Kit Kat Chunky, I'm sure, was bigger than it is now. Yeah, so lovely bar, this one. I wish this was the one. This is the one bar I really wish I could have more, because like no one's heard of it, and it was not around much, and I didn't have as much as I would have liked. And Time Out was my favourite chocolate bar, really. I think it probably, and this was the perfect way to eat it. Yeah, it's an S for sure. It's probably top of the S, maybe. Definitely, it was, yeah, because the Time Out's gone as well, and it was the perfect Time Out. It was perfect. It was lovely. So sad that it disappeared, because it was so nice, and it just had all the lovely components, wafer, lovely chocolates, really sort of chunky. It just really worked for me. It had everything I wanted from a chocolate bar, pretty much. Yeah, so it's definitely an S for sure. And yeah, and I think you all would love it. If you like timeouts, just imagine a timeout as wonderful as a timeout is. Probably, I don't know, it might be over exaggerating, but twice as nice. It's just it was that good. Oh dear. Yeah, really nice. We'll see if I can get a drifter in. I'm not sure if I can. Let's see. Well, just in case, I'll take a screenshot of this, just so I can come back to it and maybe discuss it further in a second. But let's just see, just in case I lose it. There we go. Yeah, I've got it open. So I'll just try and find a drifter. Won't be a second. Let's obviously. Drifter chocolate. So look, we'll try and add the drifter to it. Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning the drifter for sure. Definitely worth bringing in. Let's have a look. Just in case, and well, no one's seen it. It's kind of disappeared, hasn't it? As people said. So quite sure it's not around anymore. Just find where the older files are. If I can find them. Yeah, it's basically I've just yeah, okay. Just have to make the thumbnail basically. Right. Okay. Yeah, I got it somewhere. There we go. Yeah. So I'll just make the image quite quickly, and I'll add it in on the fly here. So basically, I make these images and then save them and upload them to Tier Maker basically. Let's have a look there. So I'll try and add it back in. So by the magic of editing it, it won't be a second now. So I'll just hide the screen a second so I can change it. Let's have a look. There we go. Right. So yeah, I'm still here. I'm just looking to the right as to where. Let's have a see. Where's it gone? You might be thinking it's probably not worth it, but we'll do it. Why not? Right. Let's see. Right. So have a look. Can we get it? Can we get it in? Let's see. Right, I think it might have worked. Right, let's go back. Might have changed things slightly. Let's have a look. There you go, drifters there, yes, but marble and Welsums, I think it's took them off the D tier for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's trying to complain, maybe the internet's just complaining. It doesn't like that. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So we have got the drifting. Hopefully you can see everything all right still. So I'll just put those back into the drifter then. So yes, okay, yeah, special edition drifter. Yes. So we got there in the end. Yeah. So yeah, the drifter for me, as I say, I know a lot of people have fond memories of it. For me, the drifter double deckers. Yeah, I've always wanted, yeah. I see what you mean, Poppy. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's I do like double deckers actually, but I kind of know what you mean. When you do have one, it's probably not quite as good as you remembered it. Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think I get you what you're saying with Drifter as well. I feel like when I wanted to have it, I was really looking forward to it, and I was disappointed when I had it. Not as much as double deckers, because I do quite like double deckers actually, but I do know what you mean. When I had it last time, I wasn't quite as wowed as I thought I would be, based on the fact that it was up there as being one of my favourite bars, you know. But I think it was a bit, yeah. Although you can turn upside down and be a decker double, so there was always that. Worth remembering. But yeah, it's yeah, the Drifter. I don't know. For me, I was never a big fan of Drifter really. I always preferred. I'm not sure if this is still the case. I've mentioned this before, but I always kind of preferred toffee crisps generally around this sort of area. And the reason I say that is because for me, like I mentioned before, I just rather would have a Lion Bar than a Drifter, because a Lion Bar is essentially a Drifter but better, because it's a drift. It's literally the finger of a Drifter, but covered with Rice Krispies and chocolate mixed together, making a topper. So it is literally the same thing, but just without, in a two-fingered version rather than a single finger, but with all those Rice Krispie chocolate mixed combo on top of them. So I just thought, well, I'd rather have a Lion Bar. And then the thing with Lion Bars is I'd always rather have a toffee crisp. Although I'm not too sure about that now, because I think when I've had toffee crisp recently, I don't know whether they had quite the same taste as I remembered them having. So I'm not sure. I might have to revisit that. But yeah, basically for me, I would always rather have a Lion Bar, and I never really was that too fussed about Drifters anyway. So yeah, so for me this one is probably another controversial one, maybe one won't really like as much as, yeah. Both Nestle, so may have discontinued Drifters to keep. Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is it exactly. I think that might be what it is really. They might have just, But by the same token, I think, well, you're making the fingers anyway, so why not just make Drifter? So it's a bit of a funny one, that one. But yeah, you probably, yeah, and they might have just thought, well, we'll just keep making the Lion Bar. And there's definitely a bit more of a variety with the Lion Bar. They do different sort of versions, don't they? White chocolate and coconut ones and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it's a funny one. So for me, the Drifter, yeah, it's probably, again, between a C and a D, this one. And I think because I've filled the C tier, and I think because of what I've just said, I prefer the Lion Bar. I think I'm going to put it as a D. So you can see the way the thing's moved up, and you can see all this stuff at the bottom. Normally when I'm editing this, I would have edited over this, so you wouldn't have seen it. But it's actually a bit behind here, where, as I say, we can see the mouse disappearing. There's a false black platform there to hide some settings features as well. Yeah, poor sales of Drifter. Well, yeah, maybe a lot of people thought the same as me, where they just would rather have a Lion Bar. If you like a Drifter, I reckon the odds are you'd like a Lion Bar better. I'm not too sure if that's the case, of course, but I know I certainly did. So I just feel like that was probably the problem with it, really. I don't know if people picked up on the fact that it was basically the same thing, but I think even if you didn't really realise it, just by tasting it, you probably would have, just thought, well, yeah, so yeah, so it's one of those. Yeah, so there we are, really. So what do we think, everyone? What do you think? Have we past a bit of controversy here? It's a very difficult list to do this, actually. Like I was saying, there was basically the nostalgia value, there was the taste, and there was the uniqueness. So there was these three things that came into it, and also, and all of them are subjective, of course. So it was a very difficult list, actually, and it's not really to say that there's almost all of them I wouldn't mind seeing again. I mean, I think it's only the Wowsums that really didn't do anything for me. Maybe slightly the Marble, sorry Poppy, but yeah, maybe slightly the Marble as well, just because I think there's a lot of bars like it still, and it didn't really do much for me at the time. But I think definitely the S and the A tier are definitely the two tiers which have got the most things I'd like to see again, and a few and the B tier as well. I think basically, I think the C tier are kind of ones where either I didn't really experience them too much, or think there's better things out there really, or to an extent, or just not too keen on them. More like the tasters I really like, but they're just milk, dairy milk balls basically. The Fuse are kind of went past me by, and I guess the Kit Kat senses are probably there's the Kinder Bueno there. Wasn't too keen on the white chocolate Maltesers, as in they just just things like that really. But again, it's all difficult. I would really like to see all of them back. I wouldn't complain if the Kit Kat senses came back. Or the Fuse, for instance, I'd like to try it again. The white chocolate Maltesers probably will come back soon by the looks of, well, there's a chance. The Dream's been kind of replaced. Whisper Mint I'd be interested in seeing again, but I think there's other ones I prefer over it. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult one, really. There's a lot of things to weigh up, really. And it's, Cabana had coconut in it, Although I think I might be a bit more optimistic about that nowadays. But again, when I was younger and stuff, very difficult one, yeah. I mean, is there any glaring things anyone would say? What do you reckon? Of any? I think you kind of mentioned as we've been going on, but as it stands now at the end, what do you let me know what you think. Yeah, I don't like Poppy, Scotty. Yeah, Alan, if you're still there. Andrew, of course, seems to come in and out. Jared, Jared probably doesn't. Can't quite appreciate them the same. But yeah, we'll see what. And in the meantime, while I wait to see if you say anything, I'll just look at the poll. Let's have a bit of an end of it. I think it's been it's been a bit of a draw actually in the end. I don't know if anyone's want to quickly do a vote for the poll. If you've not done so already, I'll leave it about maybe 5 seconds, just in case it might make a winner. But it's a tie. There's a tie at the moment. Interesting one. Yes, campaign for timeout. You say, yeah. Same here, Poppy. I think I would definitely do. Well, the timeout chunky. I think you'd love the timeout chunky, of course. I know you might not be totally sure, but the timeout. Well, both of them really. I'd love to have them both back, but the timeout chunky for me, definitely. I really like that one. It was probably the perfect bar, really. It was just so had everything I liked in it. It was so nice. I really do miss that one. But again, the Whisper Bite was a really good one for because it had all the ingredients of Whisper plus the caramel plus the biscuit. The Spira just worked for some reason. The Wonka one was so crazy. It was that Kit Kat one was a really unique Kit Kat chunky, and I don't know, they're all really good. Yeah, exactly, Poppy. There you go. Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. The Goulian, I can never say it right. It's basically kind of the same thing. We still see those kind of things around, and I don't really sort of feel. I feel like it's still around, and I feel like those ones are not really. They're not really, in my view, they're not really my favourite chocolates anyway. But of course, even if they were, as you say, they're still around anyway. Those kind of noisette, pralini type ones, Yeah. So thanks for that. I'm glad you see what I mean there. So I've ended the poll. We had a bit of a tie. I think it was timeout actually. Yeah, probably in timeout. Was it Fuse? Let's have a look if it comes up in a second. Sorry, I keep looking off to the left, by the way, or down, because it's just where the screen is and where the chat is. So the camera's up there, but I'm sort of looking. They had 9 votes we had in the end. Yeah, so I guess possibly, Andrew, you were the only one after Fry's 5 sentences. But I did put it there for you, Andrew. I did give it a chance. But Fuse and timeout. Yeah. I think Fuse I can understand for sure because it's so different. It's a very different one than everything else. And I know there's the picnic, but I don't think there's anything quite like it really. But the timeout for me would have been my vote, I think. Yeah, this might be why it's not coming back, Andrew. This could be why. Yeah, it's a shame, really. It's a shame. I don't know. Maybe it's just too old a bar. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah. But if they do bring it back, I think I definitely would get one. I definitely can see it being popular. It's just whether there's just too much extreme in it. But it is the Cadbury snack from Australia, so there's something out there at least that's a bit like it. But poor Fry's 5 centres. You never know. But well, the unfortunate thing for Andrew at least is that this poll isn't conclusive. I don't think it represents the nation as a whole. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. Could we say it does? But but there we go. So I don't know. I do worry about whether that Fry's 5 centres will ever come back, because I think they basically had 5 different centres available either in 2020 or 2019. Now, you could argue that events happened that stopped any demand for things, that might have put a stop to it. But I would have thought they would have already had it in production by that point. I don't know. But if they were, and they could still do now, and they've done like the cherry Turkish delight, which so they have done new bars, and they've done various limited edition, fries bars and things. I just worry that, that if they were going to do it, they would have done it by now, really, and they haven't. So I don't know whether it's just I just don't know. Yeah, I do, Sam. I do fear the worst, but you never know. Fingers crossed. It would be nice to see for sure. But yeah, very interesting one, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that. It's good to chat to you all. Good to chat to you, Scott. It's good to meet you, Poppy, as well. Really great to chat to you, and especially as you're a fellow Timeout fan. Always a good thing. Yeah, Alan, of course. I knew you'd appreciate the Kit Kat being at the top. Yeah, I know obviously Andrew wouldn't appreciate the fries 5 cents not quite being there, but but there we go. Oh dear. And Joe, of course, thanks for watching. If you're still there, I really appreciate it. And I realise some of the context isn't there for you being in Brazil, but it's really nice to see you again. Good to chat to you. Always a pleasant person to speak to, so really nice. Yeah, so yeah, thanks, Scotty. Yeah, I think I don't know why I've not done these live before, really. I should have perhaps done them live, but I didn't. I thought maybe it would just be interesting to have the premieres, but to be honest with you, so I might do more live things, maybe just even live reviews or like reviews as premieres, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't mean I have to be there, of course, but I could do that. But yeah, tier lists and things, bit of discussion ones, perhaps. So it'd be nice to do them, more like this. So yeah, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it too, Poppy and Alan, and Joe, of course. You do us live, I see. I think you're not the only one, actually. I think a couple of people have thought that, and yeah, this is it. But yeah, I was in the chat as well, you see, so that was it. I could chat more, but I may as well have done it live, because the thing is, I had to spend all the previous day editing it, recording it, which would take an hour. So imagine if I recorded this. I mean, obviously it's taken a bit longer because we're in chatting and things, but let's say an hour. It would take over an hour to edit it, because obviously I'd have to watch it through and edit it all, and that would be removing all this bits you can see where it says save and stuff like that. There's some cogs underneath the and which moves as the pictures get moved into the tiers. So you've seen it move. So I have to edit it at certain times, it just all that takes time. If I made mistakes, I'd have to edit it out and stuff. Or if I forgot certain things, I'd have to put them in. So you'd see the effects at the end. So basically, you're talking an hour and a half to edit it. So that's 2.5 hours. It probably takes 2 hours to edit it, really. But then there's all making the graphics as well. So, but I have to do that with this as well, also. But that's a basic half an hour or something. So it just takes a lot of time to do. Then there's uploading it, which takes a long time. Then there's all the editing it after the upload, and that takes time. So which I don't have to do this time. So it's just a lot easier to do it live, basically. So I don't know why I didn't really. But yeah, so I might do more, either this or other things live or something like that. We'll see how it goes. There's probably quite a lot of mileage and tier lists, probably lots of other things I can do, and stuff like that as well. But I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, and the good things to watch back also, of course, stuff like this. But yeah, no, it's been really nice to chat to you all. Good to see you, Scotty, I'd say, and Poppy. Oh, and Alan, of course, you're still there, and Andrew, of course. I think people come and go listening to it in the background, I'm not sure, but there we are. And Joe, as mentioned, yes. Oh, I'm not sure if anyone else turned up there. Oh, yes, and Lula as well, of course. Lula turned up before, didn't he? Yeah, so good to chat to you all. Hope you're having a lovely day. There's a bit of a delay between me going, so unfortunately I could have gone by the time you say bye or anything like that, so I'm not ignoring you, it's just that bit of a delay. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, thanks for supporting the channel, thanks for clicking the like button if you have done. Thanks, Poppy. Yeah, you take care as well. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you perhaps tomorrow, 4 o'clock for the live. I haven't posted it yet, but it'll be, I think the Fox's Biscuit was winning by miles, biscuit selection, so yeah, hopefully I'll see you then. Alright, take care, everyone. Have a great evening. See you soon. See you, Andrew. See you, Scott. See you, Alan. See you, Joe. See you, Lula. Bye, of course, Poppy. See you soon later. See you soon later. See you soon and later. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.